That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith.
Good stuff. Hashtag the slappening. Very good stuff.
The slap heard around the world.
That one was for Bevan, because Bevan messaged and said, he commented on a post and said, can you go an entire episode without mentioning the slap? I told him there was very low chances of that.
As soon as I saw this, I was like, there's my main topic for the podcast.
Yeah.
The slap. The slappening. The slap that undermined an entire award ceremony. The only thing that we're talking about. We don't even remember who won anything.
Yeah.
Except we know that Chris Rock got slapped by Will Smith.
My name is Chris Rock.
And he was slapped. He was assaulted on stage. A man telling jokes was assaulted on stage by a much bigger man, and that much bigger man went back and sat down, and not a single person said a word except for him. Of course. Can we play that?
Yeah, we can actually. Hang on a second. Hang on.
Okay.
Yep. Here we go.
Oh, hold on.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Wow.
That was
All right. It's good stuff. It's, I mean, when I saw that, honestly, when I saw that, I thought, that's official. We're in a simulation. We're in a simulation. This is the sign I needed. You know, I've been looking for signs. If we're in a simulation or not, this is the sign I needed. Will Smith walks up on stage and smacks a midget. This 6'10" guy, notorious for his gigantic pectorials.
Yep. Who trained like a boxer in a boxing ring for over a year to take on the role of Ali.
Yeah.
Right? This man.
Yeah, knows how to throw a punch,
knows
that's for sure.
Exactly how to use his hands as weapons, is very skilled and proficient at it. This man walks up to a man half his size, both the physical frame and height, and belts him across the face. Why? Well, Harley, I'm sure you can relate. A bald joke.
A bold joke. Look, to be fair, I felt the blood boiling up when I heard him make that joke, when I heard Chris Rock make that joke.
Baldism is rampant in Hollywood.
Baldism, I mean, you know, people have to get wigs in order to continue getting cast in Hollywood. That's the situation.
Yeah.
What was his name? Brett Norris. Just retired recently and he's sick.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, that's the one. Brett Norris, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
He famously has to wear wigs sometimes. Baldism, shinyism. It's rampant at the
Will
academy.
Smith was taking a stand for your people.
And I respect him. 'Cause I respect him for that. Will standing up for my people.
But what we don't respect.
One minority to another.
What we don't respect is assaulting a man on stage. You know, you could have gone, hey man, that joke was a little uncalled for, or hey man, that's not really that funny. Anything like that.
Absolutely. Because absolutely right. That would have made Chris Rock look bad. It would have been a heckle from the audience, his potentially poor taste joke.
If he'd stood up and said, hey man, bald jokes aren't funny.
Yeah, exactly.
In 2022.
Yeah.
He would have to quickly say that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what has obviously come out now is obviously him making bull jokes at the expense of other people. And he's like, oh, come on, light it up. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
On an episode of Arsenio Hall from, 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
but
that's funny.
It's kind of
That's
that
funny.
thing. Obviously, of course, people are going to scour the internet to expose the hypocrisy of the moment of what he was doing. But, where were you when the slap happened?
I found out about it through Facebook or something like that, because basically just Facebook blew up at some point. And normally I was keeping no eye on the Oscars.
No.
Nobody actually shared
You were not watching the Oscars?
No, and nobody shared the link or anything like that. It was just somebody said, Will Smith, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what's Will done? What's going on with Will? And then, so it was probably 15 minutes after it happened, so is when I saw it. There was a 15-minute Facebook delay between... that's how quickly news gets out now. A man on the other side of the world slaps... A man who I've never met from the other side of the world slaps a man who I've also never met on the other side of the world, and I know about it 15 minutes later. That's how long it takes to go from
news to
Hollywood
travel.
to my ears.
It was just crazy to me because I was like, man, he must have said something really bad. He must have said something, because I didn't know what the first thing I saw was just the slap. And Chris Rock going, wow, okay, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it could be
damn,
fake or something.
this must have been a scathing, devastating joke. And it was like, okay, it was like a very innocuous bull joke. It wasn't even like, hey, you're bald and a loser. It's like, hey, you're bald like in another movie where someone was bald.
Someone was a
super
sex
hot,
icon.
super sexy in a very empowering female role.
Yeah.
You're like that. You're like her now.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Are you embarrassed about that?
Yeah.
It was just weird. It was a weird thing. And obviously what happened is he had a little chuckle. He looked over to his wife.
Yeah,
He looked
I
over
saw
to
her
his
face.
significant other.
I saw-
And he goes, ooh, she ain't taking that well.
Yeah.
And he had a decision to make in that moment.
Yeah.
And the decision was to assault a slight, much smaller man on stage in front of millions and millions of people and hundreds of people in the audience.
This little man who was smiling at him too. He's this,
Yeah, he was
this
like,
guy.
oh, Chris
he's got
is
his
gonna come
hands
out.
behind his
Is
back.
Not obviously expecting anything,
That's why it was such a good slap, though.
Oh,
Was
well,
because
of course.
he was completely he was
wasn't
so
expecting
set up,
it.
but he had his hands behind his back and his face forward.
Yeah.
like it was just the perfect way to. If you ever want to slap somebody, that's how you want.
That's
them to
how
stand.
you want them to be prepared, prone, vulnerable, exposed,
Yeah.
and not expecting it. That's how you want to slap people. And to me, I was just like, man, obviously. And there's been some people like, if you're not part of the, if you're not part of the black community, you shouldn't speak on this. And it's like, come on, no,
It's black on black violence or something.
Assault is assault. And if I assault you, whatever color of your skin, we can talk about it.
Well, we can, but people of other ethnicities should not be able to talk about it. If you assault me, this is white people stuff, okay?
This is white people business.
Yes.
And we don't appreciate it. So,
Nobody else is allowed to talk about it.
So I think we can talk about it, and we will. So I think that the shocking thing to me, apart from the fact that obviously it just happened and it was real, and it wasn't like an Eminem-style MTV prank where, someone comes down and 69s him in the audience and he walks out in a huff. It wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
It was, what was that guy's name? Ali, what's his?
Muhammad Ali?
No. Very nice.
You made me.
I made you forget.
You made me forget it now. Borat. Yeah.
69's Eminem and he gets up and he's
Yeah.
offended. Okay, that's a stunt. That's an MTV
So
stunt.
that was a stunt.
Yeah, that was a stunt.
Yeah, because he falls right down on top of him.
Yeah, and because they thought it'd be funny, but it's kind of funny. Okay,
Yeah.
so
But wait, was Eminem in on it?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
So
it was a
it was
stunt.
all part of a,
Yeah.
just to kind of
That's funny.
create promotion
that now.
for the thing.
Yeah.
So this is not a stunt. This is a man being
Eminem,
assaulted.
What a good cunt.
And I think the most shocking thing, and this does happen when obviously when like these kind of shocking acts happen, is kind of everyone just stands and watches. They don't react. They don't know how to react, and they kind of all just kind of look and then almost behave as if it did not happen. I think there was some but to me, it's like, okay, the slap was completely like, this is the height of rich person privilege. You know, this is really the like the Fresh Prince, Will Smith. I love Will Smith as an actor. He has been the greatest box office superstar of the last 20 odd years, and he was the fucking man, and he could do sort of no wrong. And when you're in that environment, obviously, some of the rules, as we've talked about before, the rules don't apply to you. But this is really the height of the rules not applying to you. Because if you assault a person on stage, the first thing that normally happens is security walks in and goes, "Yeah, sir, you're coming with me."
Yeah, I was like, what's going on
Get
here?
the fuck out. But he just walks back down to a sit. No security ever comes over to him, as far as I can see. It also turned out that he was asked through his representatives to leave, and either his representatives...
Wait, whose representatives?
Will Smith's.
Will Smith's representatives.
So whoever that
asked
is,
Will
like
Smith
his
to
fucking
leave.
agent... No. So rather than like security just coming up to him,
Yeah.
it's too rich and powerful for that. Security
Yeah.
can't approach him directly.
Yeah.
They have to approach him via his agent.
Got it.
And they go, excuse me, but would like you, Will Smith to leave the building now. And whether or not his agent then went, "Hey, Will, they want you to leave." And he goes, "Nah, man, I'm kidding my fucking Oscar, all right?
Yeah.
I'm going to sit right here. They ain't going to do shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm fucking rich and privileged.
Yeah.
And this is how it is for me." All of which was true. All of that did happen. Nothing happened to him. There were no repercussions. Chris Rock is not pressing any charges. And to be fair, maybe he doesn't feel like, there's a million reasons why he might not want to. It's quite likely they were on very good terms before this.
Well, they mustn't have been. Because I was like, there's no way, unless he was shit-faced, which is a possibility here. Like,
Yep.
It does seem like, you see him, he's laughing,
Yeah.
he's crying, he's assaulting people. Like this is classic drunk behavior, or the behavior of, somebody who's on doing something, whatever he's doing. So, yeah.
I just thought, I was like, man, okay, so nothing's, okay, he's won the Oscar. And look, fair enough, great performance. You get to win the Oscar, but maybe you don't actually, but then you assaulted someone at the Oscars, so
Yeah.
maybe you don't get that anymore.
Well,
maybe that does kind of, obviously it can't happen on the night, but it's like, okay, you assaulted someone that is breaking the rules. What happens to you now?
Yeah.
And the most disappointing thing is like the whole slap thing happened, and then he got up on stage and talked about how he was a river of love and a conduit for
and
this,
he loves protecting his family.
Protecting his family, and just like
From
the character,
jokes.
just like the character he played. That was also protective of a family. He's protective of a family. It was all just bullshit excuses.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Oh, and I'd like to really apologize to the Academy while I hold the statue that they gave me. But the one guy that I actually assaulted, I will definitely not apologize to."
Yeah.
And then I get the most chicken shit thing of the whole thing is then the apology, of course, the blowback comes and everyone goes, hey, super rich, powerful man that has never experienced, not since your early childhood and 20s when it was different, but super rich, powerful man who doesn't live in the real world. You are looked at in a negative light right now. People are not a big fan of what you've done here. And he goes, "Oh, well, let me issue an apology via Instagram to Chris Rock." How about you fucking call him? How about you call him and go, "Hey, mate, I'm really sorry for that. It's an embarrassing thing. I'm sorry that I didn't apologize at the time. I'm sorry that I, have taken this long to apologize to you. And I just wanted to say this to your face or say this over the phone. Of course, I have your number. I'm Will Smith. I have everyone's number in the fucking world." But instead, he goes, "Yeah, let me just dial this up on the classic Instagram apology."
He did it while he was fucking sitting on the loo. He was taking a shit and he was composing this, and then he sent it through to his publicist or whatever, or his advisors, and said, "How about this one?"
And the thing that so that is also disappointing, but it's the rich person, no repercussions thing. Even on the night, it's just like, cool, you made a choice right then to slap someone and assault someone who didn't know they were going to be assaulted and really had no reason to be assaulted, right? So in that moment, you made a choice. And that choice should have led to you being escorted out, you not getting your Oscar, you not getting to have a 10-minute speech where you don't apologize to the person who was assaulted, who's just standing 20 meters off stage going, fuck, I hope don't come over here and hurt me again. And it also does open this whole gateway of like, cool, if I'm Chris Rock and this has happened, there is now the potential that at Chris Rock's huge concerts and stuff, people will decide they want to recreate this moment because this is exactly what happens is we see this and we go, oh, fuck, imagine if I get up on stage and slap Chris Rock. Maybe I can do that.
So you think that people might be start running on stage at his shows,
100%,
beating him down?
No, I mean trying to.
No, but
obviously trying to.
They do have security for
Well,
I'm sure at Chris Rock
didn't they?
events,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people try to rush up to give him a blowjob all day.
I think he's going to be tightening up that security right now.
Yeah.
But also he's just at the supermarket and someone goes, hey, dude, turn your phone on. There's Chris Rock right there. And he just runs up and goes, whack. And he goes, damn, keep your wife's name out of your fucking mouth. And then he just runs off. And this could, I just feel like all of this is bad. All of this is negative. But I just also think the way that, because that's the thing. He had 45 minutes to sit and reflect on what he'd done.
Yeah, between winning and slapping, between
and
slapping and winning.
his incredibly, rich, privileged perspective, he hadn't done anything wrong. He'd done the right thing. So much so that he couldn't possibly apologize to him in the greatest pinnacle of his acting career at the moment. He couldn't reach out and just extend that olive branch.
Yeah.
But he could have apologized to the Academy.
Yeah.
But it
wasn't just the Academy. He also apologized to like everybody else.
Everybody
basically.
in the audience.
Yeah, he was
except
like,
the person I assaulted. Look, hey, I'm really sorry you had to see me assault that tiny man.
But that showed that he could see that his behavior required some sort of apology. So if your behavior requires some sort of apology, obviously it requires the most apology to the person that you struck.
And it's like, man, I really hope that Will Smith doesn't also reflect on Will Smith's career where he's made somewhat of it based around making fun of other people's appearances continuously on things like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Being short is also genetic.
And it's another thing I'm touchy about.
And guess who?
I'm really starting to feel like Will Smith.
Carlton bore the brunt of a lot of short jokes on there.
Yeah.
Directly from the Fresh Prince himself.
Yeah.
Did Carlton
Maybe that's where this comes from. Maybe he just hates short people.
Well, this is what, no, I think, and I did a post about this on Facebook. I think this comes from, essentially, that Will Smith is not the cool, like, he's not Will Smith anymore.
Yeah.
He's not the cool kid anymore. He's not the guy that everyone is like, man, I want to be Will Smith.
Yeah.
I want to be the movie star Will Smith. Some people don't even know Will Smith like that anymore.
Yeah.
And so he's no longer that sort of box office superstar because kind of the whole movie stardom thing is eroding a little bit. And so, essentially for the last couple of years where he's been sort of revealed to essentially be a cuck, he's being cuckolded, by his wife. Now, here's the truth of that. That's probably been going on since they started, since they got married. And the truth is he's probably had many relationships himself. But it just so happened...
Goes on tour, stays on tour.
Exactly. It just so happened that...
Except for the herpes. They'll follow you.
This interview kind of gained all this traction. The cut back to him and the cry face Will Smith meme arrived. And suddenly Will Smith is no longer this super cool dude in all these amazing movies. He's a guy being cuckolded by his wife with no repercussion except in front of the camera. And I think that, and to become a meme, essentially a meme, right? And he's addressed that and said, oh, it didn't even bother me. My eyes were just watery that day.
I just have watery days.
I just have water. They always get watery when I'm
eyes.
tired. I wasn't worried about that. And it's like, maybe it's true because he's known about it for 20 years because he's been doing it. But it just so happened that he was no longer this cool guy. He'd been
Those
kind
tears
of
looked very similar.
emasculated. And then he's like, okay, I'm presented by this choice again to be that Will Smith.
Yeah.
Or kind of take back my masculinity right here. And, there is this whole thing in his book, which we talked about his book before, where essentially he stood and did nothing while his mother was beaten by his father, right? And so he's always felt like a coward. And so he felt that perhaps, and obviously we're speculating right now, but it's like, okay, if you've always felt that way, you've had this whole meme situation, and now you're being presented with a choice. Do you sort of laugh it off and like, is the meme going to be Jada Pinkett angry face, Will Smith pointing and laughing? Or is it going to be Jada Smith angry face, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock? What do I want my next meme to be? And he's like, I choose violence. I choose violence. I choose to do, in fact, the most cowardly thing, which is to assault a man that I know could never ever beat me in a fight. You know, I know that.
And do it when he's not expecting.
Yeah,
it.
there's no repercussions here for me. All I do is do this thing. And, you know, that's the thing. And there's other jokes about, like, if it was The Rock up there. And The Rock said, hey, I'll see her in G.I. Jane. And then he's like, good. The end. And that's the thing. It's like, I just can't believe if it was The Rock sitting up there that Will would have walked up to him.
G.I. Jane, baby. It's funny. Come on, have a chuckle, babe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, lighten up. Why don't you just lighten up? You just lighten up. Why do you take this stuff so seriously?
The Oscars, it's all good.
And so there's so many things sort of wrong with that situation, but I really think it was more of a reaction to the way that he thinks the public perceives him, and he maybe even thinks his wife perceives him. And then what can I do to show that I'm not that guy? I'm not uncool Will Smith anymore. I'm like the boss taking charge Will Smith. And his total disconnect from reality, because of course he's super rich and privileged, meant that he was like, I could do this. And it'll be all good. It'll be absolutely fine, 100%.
Well, he had
I just have to apologize later.
He just had so much time to think about it on his way up, you know? Like
I know, he was walking.
It was not, he had to walk all the way there. And surely, like, sometimes I might get angry about something, you know? And maybe a person might get really angry and make an aggressive movement, you know, and then sort of decide halfway through, you know what, I'm being fucking silly here. You know, calm down, you know? Well, Will Smith had so much time to think about it all the way up there. And he's looking at this little guy smiling at him, you know, and he's like...
Just innocently smiling at him like, hey, man, what's up? Why are you coming up on stage right now?
But here's the thing. People, especially rich, famous movie stars, go crazy after a little while. They go... We've seen it. We've seen it so many times where they go off the deep end.
We have. Absolutely, we've seen that.
And when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, Will's going the Mel Gibson way now. I was like,
he's gone full Gibbo on it.
He's gone full Gibson.
He's gone Gibson on it.
And I was like, oh, okay, he's obviously having some sort of crisis. You know, he's breaking down in some way for this to happen, because it's just crazy to do all of that, to humiliate Chris Rock in front of his peers. That was the bit that I was kind of like really shocked about from a movie industry professional, one to the other. You know, it's like you don't get up and ruin somebody else's act. You know, like it's a respect thing. You don't get up and ruin somebody else's act, really, under any circumstances.
Well, especially if your act is very similar.
Exactly. He's like a comedian. You know, he is a funny guy. He's a performer. He understands that Chris Rock is up there doing a whole bunch of different jokes that he's pre-written. And, you know, like he understands that Chris Rock has been trying this thing for months, you know, rehearsing this thing for months, preparing for this, writing some of this stuff, all of that stuff. And so to get up there and professionally disrespect him in this way over like a lighthearted joke, it's like you can't get up and assault the comedians, because the day you do that, comedy dies and so does free speech. Right? Yeah. As soon as you say, oh, okay, if I don't like the joke on stage, I can assault the person who made it, and that's an acceptable way to behave. Well, then that's it. You can't make jokes on stage anymore, because you're always going to offend somebody. Yeah. I mean, imagine how many times I would have been slapped for the things I've said on this show.
This podcast.
On this show. I
would have had to get the slap hand out at least 2 times per podcast.
Well, and the listeners too. I mean, if this was a live show, I'd be getting slapped all day. Can't have that.
So, yeah, it is disturbing, but I do think it's like, look, you're right. Rich, super successul people
go nuts
after a while because
Mel Gibson,
they're in the bubble.
But there's been many
They're
others,
in the bubble.
Right?
They're in the bubble. And, you know, there's also this other conversation. Oh, some people were
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, some people were sort of leaping up and being like, oh, well, hang on a sec. You know, he was just, you know,
standing up for chivalry.
Yeah, and all this stuff.
This is a move that will make him popular, surprisingly, with the like right-wing Republican crowd in America. They'll be like, hey, that Will Smith, he stands up for family values. He's not bad. And, you know, for one of them, I'll say.
Jim Carrey had a great take on it where he sort of said it was sickening and he was disgusted by it. But he also said something which was very poignant. And he goes, damn, I was watching that and I was like, holy shit, we're not the cool kids anymore. And I do think that that's the thing. Will Smith is now a meme. Now he's multiple different memes, right? He's a meme about being a cuckolded husband. He's a meme about now the slapper.
Yeah.
The slapper.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do with the work that he's done. And I just think that part of that is because we don't hold movie stars in the same reverence that we did.
Once
in fact,
did.
some people
They're
probably
at an all-time low.
Some people probably only know Will Smith as the guy on YouTube.
The meme. They know him as the guy from the meme.
The YouTuber, Will Smith.
No.
Not the guy who makes all these different movies.
No, most people will know him from the meme. Absolutely. Like they'll know his face and they'll be like, what? Is that guy a movie star or something?
Yeah.
The crying meme.
So that's the thing. And I think that is like, we just, like, the way we look at movie stars is not the same way we used to. We don't respect them. We want to make them memes now.
Yeah.
We don't want to, and so I feel...
You know what it is, right? It's the too much information is what it is. So what it is like suddenly we know too much about these guys. It used to be there was some mystique. An air of mystique around a movie star, right?
But now Will Smith's got a YouTube channel.
We just see them as this person on the big silver screen, you know, killing killing aliens and stuff like that. You know, you see them as these great heroes. But then nowadays, you go, let's check out Will Smith's TikTok. Shit, I'm super disappointed. All the air of mystery is gone. You know, he's just a normal person and he's actually kind of out of touch and a bit of a dick. You know, maybe not Will Smith's TikTok. I've never seen it, but. You know what I mean? But what a moron that he made himself look so stupid and unprofessional and terrible because it was such an overreaction to what was really not a very bad joke, and it wasn't even like particularly offensive. It was a dumb joke. It wasn't really funny. It was pretty shit.
Yeah, it wasn't
honest.
A good joke.
It was pretty shit, but it was like you could tell it was just a throwaway line. So he comes out, he roasts a few people in the audience a little bit, and then he gets on with it.
And also, if you
that's all he did.
And also,
a light roasting.
A very light roasting, because if you really went with the by logic of like, oh, well, he's making fun of alopecia and that's not cool, it's like, okay, cool. If
he even knew.
And if he'd said, hey, by the way, you know, Jada Pinkett is so much more uglier now because she's got no hair.
Yeah.
That's right. That's rather inappropriate.
Yeah.
But what he actually is like, hey, you know, Jada Pinkett is bald like G.I. Jane was bald in that movie.
G.I. Jane, and that's quite an iconic film.
Yes.
And it's really a film that's about female empowerment.
Yes.
And it's something where she shaves her head, and this moment when she shaves her head is this pivotal moment for the character where she becomes, you know, the thing she's trying to be, what she's striving for.
Harley
that's
once
what it
again
represents.
bringing out his knowledge of kind of films
obscure
that no one ever like remembers, but this one really stands
when
out.
she shaves her head, the point is like, okay, it's business time now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it's an empowerment story. It's when the story starts to turn in her favor, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, so you're what's wrong with suggesting that Jada might be in the next G.I. Jane 2 playing, you know, this amazing, you know, role of female empowerment because she's got the hair for it. So, good, you know, it's a very light joke. But the thing is that, okay, firstly, it's not like the alopecia is like terminal. You know what I mean? She's losing her hair, and that's bad, and it's an immuno disease, and I'm not belittling that at all. But obviously, this is not the same as him getting out there and making cancer jokes while his wife is dying of cancer.
That's right.
You know, it's not the same thing.
No.
And I mean, to be honest, there's been a few times that I wish I had alopecia. You know, like
something to throw to.
I'm already bald on top, right? So who cares if I lose my head here? Because I've already lost it. Really, I just have to shave my head all the time if I don't want to look like a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
So really, that's quite a nuisance. And then obviously my back hair and my chest hair and my shoulder hair. I mean, that would all be good stuff, really, for the most part, if it fell out. No more shaving my balls, and so, you know, the only bad thing really would be no eyelashes. No eyebrows, and obviously I do enjoy my beard, so I would miss my beard. But you know, overall, like, it's not like this was, you know, really such a super offensive joke.
Also, the other thing that, so if you apologize on Instagram, did you really apologize
did he
at all?
know she was sick or not? Yeah, well,
and the other thing is, well, this is one of the things that he said on his apology. He said, "Look, I'm sorry I did that. I don't condone violence, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, I am a work in progress. Motherfucker, you're a middle-aged man over 50. If you're still a work in progress, then you have got some serious problems. Because you're a man that has been given all this, not given, but has had this opportunity, has taken this opportunity, has become the biggest star in the world, has the sort of facility to talk to the best psychologists in the world, take the best care of yourself, have anything. Hey, don't want to work for a year? Cool, I won't. Need to speak to this therapist? Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. Mental health, whatever you need, we can accommodate you. There's no one that could be accommodated to more than you. Also, you have the opportunity through all of that to have a beautiful house, wife, mansion, children, all the sorts
successful children too. Beautiful, successful children.
And give them the best opportunities.
The entire family is
everyone the best
beautiful,
opportunities.
and everybody's got the best opportunities.
And then it's so when all that, if you're someone that's in the sort of well over the last half of their life and you haven't learned to not be a worker, you haven't learned to be a nice guy who doesn't assault people on stage when they make pretty lame-ass jokes, then, it's just this whole work in progress thing. It's if you're 20 years old, you can say, hey, I'm a work in progress. Yeah, I got a lot of learning to do. I'm immature. My brain's still developing. I do dumb shit sometimes. And we all go, yeah, man, of course. Of course you can. Of course. That's right. You're a work in progress. I remember being 20-year-old. You're just a silly kid. You do silly things. You make impulsive. You do all that. You are a 53-year-old man. You're a 53-year-old or 54-year-old man. You're the most successful movie star in the world. You're not a work in progress anymore.
He is, though. Look, I hear what you're saying. I agree with most of what you're saying. But when you're 53, you should still be a work in progress. Because nobody's reached it. And so
right.
obviously
Okay,
he's
sure.
acknowledging that he behaved poorly. But I mean, to be honest, I think he should have invited Chris Rock around for dinner.
Tea and crumpets.
Had a private conversation with him, had a dinner, had a whiskey and said, hey, look, I'm really sorry about that. And Chris probably would have said to Jada, hey, look, I'm also, I'm sorry, I misread that. I didn't mean too much by it, So I didn't realize it was such a sore spot, and then you have your Instagram conversation, your Instagram post.
Send out the apology after
that. To be honest,
that.
that might have been what happened.
He might
have woken up in the morning and be like, oh, fuck, man, I was so fucked last night.
No, he didn't.
Man,
I can tell you that.
I punched the MC, I got drunk, I danced with my Oscar, and I cried in front of everybody.
I was doing Get Jiggy with it like nothing ever happened.
My fucking God. I think deep down inside, look, I believe in Will Smith. Not that I've read his book yet, but I will. I believe in him. And I believe that deep down inside, he has ruined the experience of winning an Oscar for himself.
But he hasn't responded?
No, not yet, but I think that he knows. And I think that he'll come around to it. And in his bookie book too, he will say, yeah, I really marred my reputation and my experience of that moment, that moment, because this is his first Oscar, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's his first Oscar. It's a big deal. It's a really serious film. He's
striving all his career to get that.
He's done a great job. It's this huge moment, and it's been completely overshadowed by the fact that he slapped somebody who he's probably kind of friendly with over a silly little joke, the dumbest silly little G.I. Jane joke.
Well, also,
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Oh, okay, I will. Man.
I'm gonna, dude.
I'm gonna. Will Smith just slapped me.
Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me.
Whoop
the shit out of me, something like that.
Yeah.
Some Americanism.
Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me, I think it was. But anyway, so that's the thing. I was really interested in Chris Rock's take. Because Chris Rock didn't jump into the media fray and go, I think this or I think that or anything.
Yeah.
What he said at his most recent show, which I think was last night, was I haven't really processed this.
Yeah.
So I will probably speak about it in depth at some time.
Yeah.
But right now, I just still haven't really processed the whole thing.
It's a wise move, right?
And then he also said, no, I have not heard from anyone. As in, I have not heard from Will. He did not invite me to dinner to apologize. I have not heard from him. The only thing I've seen is that Instagram apology. And that, again, is to me the biggest issue out of all of it is if you do a dumb fuck up and you're a work in progress at 50, I just think you should be past those types of work in progress. Yes, we are all a work in progress.
Absolutely right. I mean, that's the thing. That's so immature.
As in terms of works in progress that you could be passed at a certain age. This is a 20-year-old thing. It's not a 50-year-old thing. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, to me, that was the most telling thing. Is like, oh, how should we PR spin this?
Yeah.
Let me throw out the Instagram apology.
Yeah.
As in, it's like, just, man, ring him up. Ring up Chris Rock. If he doesn't answer, leave a message. Try and arrange a meeting. Do anything.
I did read that they'd had a few snipes beforehand, though.
Well, yes.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah,
so
so-
maybe
well, he
he's
did
like
make a-
he's like this fucking little shit who I've known
Yeah,
for
of course.
fucking ages, and he's a dickhead. I've met him. He might be funny on stage. Maybe his show's funny. Okay, but he's a cunt. I've met him. I've met him heaps of times, and he knows this is a fucking sensitive subject. How can you not know? You know, how could you not know? All right, we've been talking about it openly on daytime television for fucking months. The alopecia thing. All right, so now here he is, this little shit with this shit-eating grin. He's up on fucking stage. And now he's making fun of my frickin' wife. Okay? So he's like, look, I'm Will Smith. I'm about to win a fucking Oscar. I'm really into protecting my family at the moment.
No one's making a meme out of me again.
Because of this Williams movie, this Serena Williams movie.
They've almost forgotten the fact that I've been cuckolded for all this time. They've almost forgot because of this great movie I just made.
I'm going to get up and slap the shit out of this dude.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing, but I just think that there's, like...
I wouldn't expect that. I personally wouldn't expect that kind of behavior from the Will Smith that I have imagined in my mind.
That's true. Me neither.
You know, like I would. That's why
Will
I thought
Smith, my hero, would not do that.
That's why I thought he would. He must have gone a little bit crazy. You know, like he's gone the Tom Cruise way.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, he's finally sort of jumped the goat. He's gone that way.
Jump the couch.
Yeah, he's jumped the couch. He's finally jumped the couch.
Finally jumped the couch.
That's good. That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. He's jumped the couch. That's what we're going to call it now. When a celebrity crosses the barrier from sane into insane, we say they've jumped the couch.
Moment.
That's brilliant. It's a reference to the jumping the shark. It works so well. It's great stuff.
I'm a genius.
You're a genius, Guy. If I wasn't here to inspire
Improv is
that,
alive and well.
So I wouldn't really expect that kind of behavior from not my Will. Not my Will.
Not my Will.
Not my Will. But I do need to read his book. And Richard Lambeth, we did get a couple of shout outs here.
Yep.
Tyler, the Tyler, the VFX creator, and also Richard Lambeth. Richard says that the book is good and you should read it. Now, you have read it. I haven't read it.
Yeah. It is
a
good.
good book?
And it does
Does it explain this?
Well, that's the thing. It does speak to this trauma and the idea of being a sort of an acting cowardly through pivotal moments of his life, right? And but this is not a pivotal moment of his life.
Yeah.
I think that's where he made the big mistake. He is like, this is in no way a pivotal moment in your or anyone's life.
Yeah.
And yes, there was talk because essentially Jada was made fun of at the 2016 Oscars.
Yeah.
Because essentially it was like, hey, look, Jada wasn't even invited to Oscar. She's not relevant. Basically was the joke. He said, I think he said it was like me being invited to Rihanna's panties. I'm not invited. I was never invited.
Rihanna's panties?
Yeah, that's what he said. He was like, that's like Jada speaking on that is like me being invited to, not me being in Rihanna's panties. I was not invited. No one wanted me there. Something like that. I can't remember the exact thing. But anyway, so it's so that happened. But the other thing that happened is that Jane Campion, our New Zealand director, won
my mate who's seen me, who's asked to see me twice for two of her projects now. Yeah. One of which I declined, but the other one I did attend.
The Oscar-winning one is
the
which you
Oscar-winning one,
declined.
The Power of the Dog. I did decline that audition.
So she won Best Director.
Yeah.
Now, Richard, conspiracy theorist, right-wing Richard, was convinced that her faux pas, that we also talked about on the other podcast, has cost her winning the Best Director.
Yeah.
Now, to me, Best Picture.
Yeah.
Now, to me, I feel like that's completely ridiculous. He would at least have some merit had she not won Best Director. But the fact that she won Best Director, to me, reflects the fact that absolutely nobody really cared about that one.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think it was too big a deal. I mean, New Zealand media probably made a big deal about it.
Conspiracy theorist Richard, I think you're wrong on this one because she won an Oscar.
Yeah.
She's get cancelled from the Oscars. Well, she won.
I feel like the score now is something like 5 to the Guy and Harley podcast, 1 to Richard.
Richard is on like an extreme losing streak of hot takes.
Yeah.
His hot takes have been really way off recently. And this is another one that, to me, I feel was way off.
Yeah.
So she won Best Director for Power of the Dog. I still haven't seen it yet, but I'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'll get to it.
Well, when you said it was on Netflix,
Yeah.
my heart sank, really, because that's usually my excuse, is if it's not on Netflix, I can't get around to watching it. How could I possibly do it without either paying my money or pirating it, neither of which I'm prepared to do, right? But it is on Netflix. Now, I've got a real beef, as we know, with long films.
You do. You advocated that we cut all our films
to 90 minutes max. 80's great. 80's good. 80's a good length of a movie. 90 max. And so when I see the duration, it's like, well, fucking hell, I can't get around to watching that. I mean, I'm watching 15 minutes of television at a time, and I'm pausing it. How long is it going to take me to watch a 3-hour movie? I don't want to do that. You forget what's happened, you're like, I haven't watched this for a few days. I'll watch another 15 minutes. Maybe I watch movies like a fucking sicko though, right? Because I'm not supposed to do that, yeah? You as a filmmaker must be quite horrified.
Yeah, it's offensive to me.
Yeah. The director of the Williams movie, which I actually can't remember the name of the Venus and Serena movie. Do you know it?
King Richard.
King Richard, yeah.
Yep.
King Dick, that was it.
Yep.
So the director of King Dick was very disappointed, according to Nocturnal, a.k.a. Sam Wheeler, who, and apparently they're not Scientologists, but the director was very disappointed because it tainted the film, which I can totally imagine. Like, this film's winning Oscars, but people are talking about Will Smith's, basically the bad behavior of the lead man, has overshadowed it. Again, it's that unprofessional thing, it's just disrespectful to the people that worked on the film. It's disrespectful to Chris. It's disrespectful to the people that organized the Oscars, the whole thing.
So also Tyler said allegedly he has resigned from the Academy.
Yeah, I saw that too. So I did know there was an update before the show, but I didn't bother to read what that update was.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Does he give back his Oscar, or is it just I'm not a member. I no longer pay for membership
this is
here.
the fucked up thing.
As if it's important.
So basically,
he's basically saying fuck you to them.
If you're an Academy member, you get to watch all the Academy nominated films and vote on them, right? For life. That's what happens when you're an Academy member. And there's various ways that you can become
he's like, fuck you, I don't want your shitty movies.
Before you're Academy member. But it's like, so basically it's like, cool, you don't have to watch all the Oscar films and allegedly you won't get invited to the Oscars anymore. But none of that matters because you won the biggest Oscar you could ever win already, and it's sitting in your house.
He's clocked the Oscars.
So it's sort of like, essentially that's 100% right, Harley. You've clocked the game, you've smashed it, you got 100% completion, and then you've given the game away at the end and gone, well, see, I gave the game away. So, I mean, so it's like, no, if he'd been resigned and his Oscar had been taken away from him, never to be allowed to be in Oscar contention again and never to win an Oscar, okay, that's a repercussion. That's a real repercussion but as it is, it's like, oh, well, boo-hoo, I can't be part of the Academy anymore.
I do really wish... This is how I knew I was in a simulation, right? Because in another universe, he just got kicked out straight away. It's like, just like any other show in the world.
Yeah.
Any other show in the world, if you get up on stage to slap the comedian, you will be removed from the premises.
Also, he's not the comedian. He's just the presenter. He's the host.
Either way.
If you get up, he says, that's worse. If you get up and slap the host of the ceremony.
Yeah.
He's not, yes, he is a comedian as well.
But he's doing
jokes. Comedy.
That's why he's there. He's employed as a comedian.
No, well, he's employed to be funny and host.
Which you need a comedian for.
Well, no, because sometimes they have like Hugh Jackman do it.
Yeah. Well, in this case, though, they hired a comedian. You can't be going around slapping comedians. And so I'd really wish I had seen, I kind of wish I'd seen this other universe where Will Smith gets kicked the hell out and he's just listening out the back door. And there's just you can picture him out by the dumpster and he's got his ear up against the wall and it goes, and the winner of Best Actor is Will Smith for King Dick. And he's out there like kind of doesn't know whether to dance or cry because he can't even fucking be there for it, because obviously that had been decided before the slappening, right? So the show would have gone on, but imagine how crazy that would be if Will Smith was out back by the dumpster and he won Best Actor. Amazing stuff. We're in a simulation. We're definitely in a simulation.
It was crazy how he was asked to leave. Now, did he hear that? Like, as in,
Did they get it
know
passed
that?
along? Yeah.
Or was his agent like, I ain't telling Will Smith that. He's
Yeah.
too rich and powerful.
Or maybe because there was the
He's
publicist.
way too rich and powerful for me to tell him right now.
The publicist. He just won an Oscar. He's about to win an
He's
Oscar.
about to win an Oscar.
He's a hot favourite to win the Oscar.
I can't tell him he's not going to be allowed here. Insanity.
Yeah. Well.
Well, speaking of bald jokes
Yeah.
and bald heroes,
Yeah.
we've
I like the sound of those.
We've lost a bald hero. He's not dead,
Yeah.
but his career is
over.
over. And
Brett Norris, icon.
we're talking about Bruce Willis,
That's the one.
Die Hard,
Yeah.
Hudson Hawk,
Yeah.
Death Becomes Her. I think he was in that.
12 Monkeys.
Sin City. He's done some other good ones.
The Sixth Sense. Come on, bro.
Unbreakable. So Pulp Fiction.
Fucking Pulp Fiction. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. So Bruce Willis has announced, or again, very quietly announced that he was retiring from acting because he was suffering from, I believe it's pronounced aphasia, which is again, a neurological condition where you sort of can't remember things. And I sort of did a little bit of research on this, and allegedly it often comes on after you've like suffered a stroke or something like that. But anyway,
the kid.
the kid. That's not maybe one of his. The color of night, where you see his knob in the water,
Ooh.
floating.
Yeah. Whose
Floating.
knob floats? Mine doesn't float.
It does in the water.
Mine does not. I mean, like maybe like an underwater
Yeah,
shot.
underwater,
mean.
you see an
it's
underwater-
an underwater shot of his knob floating. Okay, I thought you meant he's sitting in a hot tub and his dick's bobbing around in front of him. And I was like, mine doesn't do that.
No, his
Even if the water was really shallow,
like an
mine still wouldn't
underwater
do
shot,
that.
And you see like a flash of his penis floating in the water.
Right. Would you reckon? Do you think it was him, or do you think it was a penis double?
It looked like it was his.
Yeah.
I can't remember the specifics, but I remember like being like, wait, what did I just see? And like going back, and I was
rewinding
like, is that
screenshotting
could
it,
that be?
Or, whatever pre-internet screenshotting was.
So Bruce Willis is an iconic actor.
The
and
Fifth Element. That's
The
another
Fifth
good one.
Element,
That's
come
another good
on,
one.
Man. And one of the
Sin City. So many.
I said Sin City before.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah. Hey, look, he's done a lot of good stuff.
So, this iconic, awesome actor who had, sadly, recently devalued himself by sort of performing in, like essentially a sort of a series of straight to DVD films over the course of the last sort of,
That's the Nicolas Cage strategy
well,
of
so
aging as a film star.
So Nicolas, but the difference
it
between
worked.
Nicolas Cage, so that's the thing. Bruce Willis has only ever really played Bruce Willis, right? He doesn't do accents. He doesn't do anything he doesn't like have crazy prosthetics.
The Jackal.
He's just.
Let's not forget the Jackal.
I mean, we mentioned that last podcast, right? Blowing someone's arm off in the Jackal.
Not anyone. Jack Black's arm. He blows Jack Black's arm off in the Jackal.
So he is, and was at least for a long time, the dude. But he's also now gotten older. And what happens when movie stars get older is they stop being those gigantic movie stars anymore. And that happens faster now, unfortunately, because of us not giving a shit about movie stars anymore. So he has now quietly retired after doing a stream of these sort of really terrible films. But it also kind of throws those terrible films in a new light, because it's like, okay, wait, so he was trying to provide for his family because he knew he had this condition potentially, and he was like, fuck, I've got to get a whole bunch of money in the bank because I don't know how long I can do this anymore. Because I know that I can't do this for much longer because I'm really struggling to remember my lines. So how can I parlay what I have now to sort of set my family up? Because he's also like quite a young father still.
I feel like his family would have been probably kind of reasonably set up by the standards of everybody
but that's
else
what I'm
in
saying.
the world.
I'm saying by the standards of wanting to remain a rich multi-millionaire for the rest of your life, living in a Hollywood mansion, and not having to scale down and become an Uber driver.
Yeah.
So, of course, the scale is relative. To maintain my sense of scale I have now, maybe I have to do all this stuff, to help. I know my kid's going to be going to college in another 5-10 years. I want to have her going to the best school, all that sort of thing. But it is just kind of a like going out, not with a bang but a whimper, because he's made all these terrible films and now it's like, and now he can't do it anymore. We'll never see another iconic Bruce Willis role, and we'll never see him that that our favorite that John Travolta comeback story or something like that. It's just like, no, he made a bunch of shit films and then he retired.
Did John Travolta come back?
Yeah, when he made Pulp Fiction. So being this huge star in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Welcome Back, Kotter. Saturday Night Fever, Grease. Then he did Look Who's Talking.
Was that 70? I feel like that was 80s.
Look Who's Talking, 70s and 80s. Look Who's Talking. Look Who's Talking 2.
Yeah.
Look Who's Talking Now.
Yeah.
And we don't care about John Travolta anymore. Then he does Pulp Fiction. Suddenly, we're all back on the Travolta bandwagon.
Yeah.
So Bruce Willis...
He got that big break.
Bruce Willis
Got
is
his
not
big break. He got a...
going to have that sort of career renaissance that we're sometimes all rooting for.
Yeah, because he no longer can.
Because he can't.
Yeah. How old is he now?
So I think he's sort of mid to late 60s.
Right.
So he's not really old, relatively speaking, especially by movie star standards.
Pretty old by my standards.
I think that I feel like
As a man who's knocking on 40.
Yeah, I think that's like
hubris. You'll be that old man before you know it, Harley. It's true. I'm already that old man before I knew it.
Yeah. So you don't want that. You don't want that to happen to anyone. You don't want to happen to someone that is supremely talented. And, yes, you can level some sort of, criticisms of Bruce Willis that he only played Bruce Willis. Mm-hmm. And that sometimes maybe he did phone it in, right? At playing himself in some of these things. But, man, when he was fucking on, he was fucking on. And Die Hard is still one of the best action films of all time. And he did introduce something that we now all know as the standard, which is not the Sylvester Stallone Arnie superhero, but the regular superhero.
Yeah.
You and I could be an action star.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, there'd be no John Wicks.
Bald men.
Yep.
Bald men can be heroes too.
Bald men doing it for themselves.
Yeah.
There'd be no John Wicks. There'd be no nobodies. There'd be no all of those style things because we wouldn't buy it. We'd be like, where's that muscle-bound action star? Well, Bruce Willis came on and he fucking broke the fucking mold. And then after that, like, whether or not maybe sometimes he made some, phone-in performances, he also chose really interesting things like 12 Monkeys and like Pulp Fiction and like sort of made really interesting career choices that a star on his level, even The Sixth Sense, didn't have to make just because he purely thought they were kind of interesting. So he wasn't afraid to take risks. He wasn't going to not play Bruce Willis, but he was going to play Bruce Willis in a lot of things that are quite risky.
This is my dream. I want to play Harley Neville in a bunch of risky films. He's living my dream.
Yeah, was living your dream. So, yes.
Now he's reaping the rewards of having lived my dream.
Yeah, so he...
Not the illness, the money.
Tyler says he was great in Die Hard 1 and 3. Die Hard 1 and 3 are perfect. He was in Wes Anderson films. So he had an awesome career. He was like, I was always tuning in for those Bruce Willis films. When I was a kid, I was like, hell yeah. Yeah. And I did really dig the idea of like, oh, this is just like a guy who's a good actor playing a guy instead of like Arnie and them. Like, you can say what you want, but Arnie was not the greatest actor. Like, let's be real.
Is that yours? Then stop eating it.
Let's just be realistic. That Arnie was maybe, and he's gotten better, obviously.
It's Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah. You're not taking me to the cooler.
Hey, Sally. You know how I said I would kill you last? I lied.
So, like, that's the thing. It's like, oh, wow. Like, good actors could just be action heroes now. No Bourne Identities without Bruce Willis. So, he did a lot of awesome things. And so, no, he's not dead this week. And let's hope that he's not for a good long while. But I just wanted to...
Shout out
to pour one out for Bruce, Uncle Bruce, Bruno.
Do you want speaking of pouring one out? Do you want to pour one out?
Maybe I'll try one.
See, Malibu and passion fruit.
We'll see how we go.
Keep it on standby.
Yeah,
it's actually not bad. Pretty little. Yeah, well, another reason I'm convinced we're stuck in this simulation at the moment,
But
right?
also, how do you feel about this Bruce Willis thing? You know, one of your great, most iconic
Bald heroes.
who you've referred to. And you've referred to in like jokes. You've referred to like many times as like the kind of the guy.
Yeah.
And now he's gone. Who's going to take up the mantle? Yes, we got Statham. We got Vin Diesel.
Both of those guys are on their way out. They're not too far behind Bruce.
But you'd also have to say that both of them are a tier beneath Bruce.
They're a tier beneath, and they're at the same age as him, practically. So
I think that they won't like to hear that. But
well, I'm sorry. So those guys and Jada Pinkett Smith are my heroes.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, I don't really. I mean, I figure like he's old. It was his time to step back from it. It was always going to happen. That's the thing. We see all these social media things. Oh, such and such celebrity has died or had this thing, and it's like what I'm noticing is that they're all quite old usually, and what it is that we're just getting old, and basically from our perspective, it's a big deal. But virtually the rest of the world, it seems like one of these main heroes to us, but the next generation is like, so who
who's
died?
Bruce Willis? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like which one died? So it's like when Jimmy Savile died. Like I didn't know who that was.
There's
I
nothing.
didn't care.
There's nothing more fleeting than fame in acting, because even if
I'm the star of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
and
God damn it!
who
Nobody
fucking
knows.
Who knows?
Nobody's even
Nobody
watching this
cares.
show. Well, I'm not sure how many viewers we've got, but it's probably 10.
Yeah, and that's the
Star of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
Yeah, fame is fleeting. You got we just need to make another few movies to at least keep you in the limelight for. But I guess that's the thing. So a great example of this is Clark Gable, right? Do you know who Clark Gable is?
I know that name.
Yeah, you know that name, but could you picture him in your head?
No.
So Clark Gable was the star of Gone with the Wind. He was
Right.
famous as kind of a handsome guy with a mustache. He was
picturing a handsome guy with a mustache now from old-timey movies.
Yeah, he was
So I think I know who you mean.
There you go. He was
it was the
the
mustache.
Yeah, it was the mustache that made it.
Yeah.
He was the biggest movie star in the world from about 1935 to about 1945, right?
Yeah.
And, was in the highest grossing film of all time ever, which is Gone with the Wind, still accounting for inflation and, depending on what metric you judge it by. And no one remembers him, right, today. Now, he was my grandmother's star. So I've talked to her and I was like, well, who were your stars growing up? And she was like, oh, Clark Gable, he was a big one. And I'm like, interesting. Now, obviously, I, as a esteemed film historian and studier of cinema, know everything about everything in the movie. So when you say, of course, I've watched many Clark Gable movies, so, because this is my job as a director, is to know all the different eras of filmmaking. But for the average Joe on the street, no one has a fucking clue who he was, that he was the biggest star in the world and all that sort of thing. And I just feel like that's the shame of it, really. That's the shame of it, that all those roles, like tears in the rain.
True that.
But hopefully we'll be able to dig out Die Hard every Christmas and respect what Bruce has done for movies.
Speaking of fleeting fame,
Yeah.
our friend and Sifty 150 listener, Tyler, the website creator, not to be confused with Tyler, the VFX creator.
Yeah.
Tyler, the website creator, recently posted on Facebook several large albums of him with celebrities.
That's right, he did.
Saw that. I counted every single one. There was
many?
approximately, when I looked, there was about 150 photos there. Roughly 150 photos on Tyler, the website creator's Facebook page of him with celebrities, various celebrities. A lot of them were, I mean, some of them were big celebrities, some of them weren't. But guess who didn't make the cut? The star of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, Harley Neville, did not make the cut. I've been in several selfies with this guy, multiple selfies. One of them wasn't even that long ago.
He's meant to be designing a website for you.
Yeah, he's what happened to HarleyNeville.com? Where is that? Now somebody's going to buy it and fucking squat on it because I said it out loud. HarleyNeville.com. I don't think the domain has been bought. So If you'd like to ruin my chances of getting it, just go get it, and then you can sell it to me later for thousands when I finally blow up. But anyway, I didn't make the cut on his selection
fame.
of famous people. Now the thing is,
Photos of me with cool people.
some of these photos were on my sets that I organised.
I thought you were going to say some of these photos I took.
No, these were photos taken on sets that I had organised, and Mike Edward was there. Some of the there was the guys from Only in Aotearoa were on there.
yeah.
Now I was in
That's true, you were.
almost every single episode of Only in Aotearoa. Almost every single episode. These guys made the cut. All of these different people. There were some big ones. Timmy Vera Morrison.
Sure.
Boba
Fett, yeah.
Boba Fett, but still, I was like, what's going on here? 150 photos. I'm not in his top 150 photos. He was like, okay, I've got 150 photos of all sorts of celebrities. A lot of them total D-listers. And Harley, he's 151. He's not gonna make. He's not in the cut.
Well,
he doesn't make it.
I guess he was looking for, people's familiarity.
I guess, obviously, people are not watching I Survived a Zombie Holocaust then.
No, but on the bright side, they are watching older.
Yep.
Now, I got a message from someone on Instagram, and they were basically just, as I occasionally do, which is always fantastic, where someone reached out and they're like, hey, I loved Older. I just thought it was amazing, blah, blah, blah. I replied, I said, hey, thank you so much. Glad you enjoyed it. And she was like, is there any chance that you guys have a DVD? I said, no, but we do have Blu-rays. I can see them one through. And she was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. This movie was so great for me. And I was like, so I sent her through the Blu-ray last week. And I just said, hey, look, thanks so much for reaching out again, because it's kind of messages from people like yourself that really make us feel that this is what we made was worthwhile, and we've succeeded in what we were attempting to do. And, and so it's, a really beautiful thing. And so we greatly appreciate it. So thank you. And she said, look, thank you. I love this film so much. And I've watched it every day this week to make myself feel better after the stress and anxiety that I've been experiencing at my work. And I was just like, that is amazing. And that
I hope you told her to go and check out the Guy and Harley podcast. You go, hey, look, man, if you want to know a bit more about us, me, I
don't want to bring back those feelings of stress and anxiety. I don't want to overwhelm her with those.
Supporting actor. We do a podcast together. She might have become our number one fan.
She might have. She might well have. And so yes, so I just thought that's really cool, because when you can connect with someone, across someone in the USA, when you can connect with someone through your idea and story across the world and have that much, have them feel like that engaged, and that's what you dream of. Like, that as a filmmaker is what you want to do, is you want to move people to feel a certain way about it. And but when you show films, especially here in New Zealand, what you get is, it looks like you really tried, really tried hard on that. It looks like you put on a lot of effort.
You must be very proud. You must be very proud.
And it's like, oh, fuck off. It wasn't that bad, was it?
It was very proud, bad. That's the level of bad. It was, you must be really proud.
You must be really proud of yourself. I mean, I'm not proud.
Yeah.
We are proud, but you must be proud
of that.
And it looks like you really put a lot of effort. You're not good, and it was not good. But I can see that you put effort into making that thing that is bad, that I cannot acknowledge as good. And it's those conversations that you walk away from. The walls are closing in. The storm clouds are hanging above your head, and you're just like, fuck. Well, maybe I should just quit right now, because this is the engagement I'm getting from the beautiful country that we live in. The people in this country that we live in are giving me that.
Yeah.
Doesn't
encourage you, does it?
Not say the people, the professionals in the industry, the peers are giving me that. Because actually we've got some really nice messages from both our films of actual people that have watched the films, like actual true audience members. These are the peers in the industry, the commissions and such, shall we say, are giving us that. And you're like, fuck. Well, if that's what you think about me, Maybe it's just time to fucking give everything up and walk home.
Just give it up. I'd given up ages ago if I had somewhere to go.
You go, look, I would have given up years ago if I had anything else to do.
Yeah.
If I had anything better with my time, spend my time, I would have.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I've got nothing better to do, so I can't give up. So
here I am.
I'm just stuck.
I'm committed. I'm committed now.
So anyway, I just thought that was a really lovely message, and we've had an overwhelming amount of those through the course of its release. But
well,
it's
you
always
guys
a
can watch
thrill.
that. There's a link in the description. It says watch older, and it's in the description of every video we do. So you click on that. There's a link, and you can watch it. There's multiple ways to watch it. Amazon Prime, Tubi, and so on. And Tubi is free. So if you watch it on Tubi, we get paid via the advertising revenue. Otherwise, Amazon Prime and wherever you do watch it, please give it a rating and a thumbs up, because that makes us more visible to the algorithm. So that would really, really help us. And also just go to olderfilm.com. Older film? Older movie? Oldermovie.com.
I think it's olderfilm.com.
If it's not olderfilm.com,
It's oldermovie.com.
go to oldermovie.com and you'll see it all there.
Should really check that out.
We should really confirm that.
Speaking of movies,
Yeah.
now it was April Fool's Day a couple of days ago. Now the question is going to be this April, will we be fools? Because on April 22nd, or around thereabouts, allegedly, we will be getting our film back in most of the major territories that we signed away our life rights to some decade ago. Oh, no, it's less than a decade. What was it, 5?
7 years.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
Some 7 years ago, you know. And
This is the rights.
This is the rights to I Survived a Zombie Holocaust in basically America and Canada.
Yeah.
And, a few other places, and or whether or not we actually get the rights back, we get the revenue back. So one way or another, this reverts back to us. In theory, but I will be finding out more about that and how they will try and not do that.
Fuck us.
Yeah, I will indeed be trying to find out that and ascertain that, in a couple weeks' time.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm just so sickened whenever I have to have conversations with them.
Yeah.
That it's going to be very difficult, because every time I feel like just losing my shit.
Yeah.
And I don't, but I want to. And if they kind of...
Smiling assassins.
If they attempt to cock block us again, so to speak, I don't know if I'll be able to...
If they attempt to zombie cock block us again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll fly off the fucking handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll lose it via email. Strongly worded emails will be forthcoming.
Yeah.
You can be assured. But I also did have this thought too, which was, okay, cool. Say that they do try and fuck us again, right? So what are we going to do? Hire a lawyer for thousands and thousands of dollars? Probably not. And that's the issue. Therein lies the whole power dynamic. They are the Will Smith to us,
The Chris Rocks.
the Chris Rocks of the world. And they are casting a mighty hand down upon us every couple of years. Well, every quarter if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's good news, though. It's good news. Hopefully we can get it back. Hopefully we can give it to our other sales agent and we can start generating some revenue ourselves from it, because that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will we be the fools this April?
The other week we were talking, Nick Zalati and so on, we're talking about catalytic converters
Yeah.
in the Priuses, and people did send us videos of these cars being robbed of their catalytic converters, and I got mixed up. I just got to correct myself here. The word I said, I was like, what's that word? Catatonic? And you're like, no, that means like sleeping, basically. Apoplectic converters. Apoplectic means angry. So apoplectic. If they steal my catalytic converter, then I will be apoplectic. So that's what I really meant by all of that. Now, this simulation idea as well. The other reason I thought I was in a simulation was because of the nuclear war, the potential nuclear war in Europe. That was another thing that made me think, well, holy shit, what's really happening here? We've got a nuclear war in Europe, we've got an ongoing global pandemic, and now this is what the Oscars have become, and now this is what Will Smith has become. You know, and it really just, just kind of
Will Smith
shook me to my core a little bit.
Putined Chris Rock's.
He Putined the Oscars. He Putined me. That's what he did. Will Smith Putined me with that move. It did break my wee heart a little bit to see him just go off the deep end like that.
Will
the
Smith
professional bit is the bit I don't get, though. I get all of it. I get the slapping. I get just being like, fuck this guy. If you're just a normal person, but it's like, you can't slap the comedian. There's rules. There's unwritten rules about the stage. You can't go up to the stage and ruin the entire show, especially because the punchline might be coming afterwards. If you get up and slap him before the punchline comes, he might have been able to say, G.I. Jane 2, I love it. I'm looking forward to seeing you in it. Because you're a beautiful, strong woman,
Just like she was.
Just like Demi Moore. You know what I mean? You can't jump up halfway through the show and ruin the fucking show, especially if the show has been rehearsed and written, in advance for months, and literally millions of people are watching.
I guess also the shock when he was like, it's a G.I. Jane joke at the end where Will Smith's yelling at him.
Yeah, no, it was he really misread the entire situation.
He he was the Putin to Chris Rock's Ukraine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, shout outs. I want to give a couple of quick shout outs to Tyler, the VFX creator, because he mentioned that last week, and we didn't see this comment, that he would like to see us do that thing where we talk over old content and do a director's commentary.
Yeah.
So let's do it. We were looking today, that's part of why the show was late. We were looking at the technical setup to see how it could be that we could talk over videos that were also playing and control the audio of that video. To keep it low enough. And obviously it can be done because we did it today with the slap. We could have talked over that, but I would just have to lower the audio down here on the computer, and we'd have to listen to it in headphones, I guess. Yeah. But yes, so we will work on that. He also said that he would love to do a Fifth Element skit with us where he does the Fifth Element VFX and all of those things.
Well, you could be Bruce Willis.
Exactly. I would be Bruce Willis.
I would have to be the perfect woman.
Well,
that being what's her name, Mila Jovovich. Jovovich. Yeah, I would have to play the perfect woman.
Yeah,
with the
wig, mate.
cross-strap boobies.
The cross-strap boobies, but also you put a bit of red in your hair. Yeah, we put a bit of orangey red in your hair. Give you a wee bob cut, and away you go. That'd be awesome. That'd be very cool. What else you got?
Well, yes. Actually, speaking of cuckolding and the whole situation, I did watch a film last night called Deep Water.
Okay.
Where Ben Affleck plays a put-upon cuck.
Okay.
And it's just really infiltrating culture right now.
Yeah.
Now we're really making movies on this. We're making memes and we're making movies.
Yeah.
And Ben Affleck's signing up to be in one. And so basically the concept is that he's married.
Cucks is where it's at.
He's married and his wife just can't stop sleeping with other men.
Yeah.
Or can't stop trying to sleep with other men or seeking the attention of other men through this thing.
Yeah.
And he has sort of begrudgingly agreed to allow it when he clearly does not want it.
Yeah.
And it's never really clearly explained, but it's almost like it's almost like she was going to leave him if he didn't accept this thing. And so this is the result. But it's actually really quite a fun movie. It is a bit silly, but I just enjoyed the fact that this movie has essentially been inspired by the Will Smith meme.
Yeah.
And so someone sat down at their computer after seeing this. We got into an entanglement interview with Jada Pinkett. He saw Will Smith's tears and he goes, wow, what if that was happening to some, rich, successful guy? Maybe a Ben Affleck type, I don't know. And his wife was just doing all this stuff. And how would he react? And that's really where this story goes. So I do actually quite recommend it. It's worth a watch. It's quite fun. I also think it adheres to your approximate runtime as well.
Oh, that's good.
There's also
I might actually watch it.
There's also some quality nudity in it.
Ooh.
If that's your type of thing. If you like realistic depictions of the naked form.
I do, obviously, because we did see that in Older.
Yes.
Obviously, that was something I stood firmly by until most of it, unfortunately, got cut.
We staunchly advocated for until we immediately cut it with our tails between our legs so we could get the most amount of reach with our film being streamed on Amazon. But before that, we were staunch advocates of nudity in film.
Sellouts.
We really went there. We pushed it as far as we possibly could until we had a matter of making an artistic choice or a commercial choice, and then we threw our artistic values out the window and made a commercial choice.
But the other version is available.
Yes.
The sexy version is available.
Yeah.
So as mentioned, if you go along to the website, oldermovie.com, you will oldermovie.com. If you go along to the website, you will be able to see a button there that says buy now, and you can click on that.
It's olderfilm.com.
Yep, it's older film. Older movie is what it used to be. Yeah,
olderfilm.com.
Okay, so it's in the link in the description. Just click on the link. You don't need to know the name. But if you hit on that big buy now button, you'll be able to see the film, and there's an uncensored director's cut, which you can buy if you're in the right part of the world. You can buy it or rent it from us directly, and that goes on that's via Vimeo. And so we actually get a way bigger cut of the money if you do it that way, and we are allowed to do that, and it's the uncensored version. So go to olderfilm.com or just click on the link down below and you'll see it, and you can watch the uncensored director's cut. So give that a go. You may or may not need a VPN, but you can figure it out.
We're a staunch advocate of nudity in
That's
film.
the sexy version, yeah.
So
okay,
Deep
well,
Water,
that sounds right.
recommend it.
I'll check it out.
It's a great one to watch with your significant other.
Okay.
Especially if you're going through relationship problems.
Okay. All right. Noted. I'll keep that in mind for next time I'm going through relationship
that
problems.
You've seen your significant other
look
at someone else with lust in their eye, brother. Then this is the one for you. Deep Water. But Ben Affleck, really, he's a really good actor. He's really matured into a good actor. I think he made some poor choices in his early career, but
what was an example of a poor choice?
Pearl Harbor.
Well, I mean,
Geely would be the prime.
Right, that's
offender.
where it all went wrong for him. That's where it all went wrong
Jersey
for
Girl,
him.
all of those. Although I don't think
Jersey Girl was a big hit, right?
No, what? No.
Didn't it? Wasn't it like that? Isn't that a thing? A romantic comedy thing that people like that?
It wasn't. It was not
Famous for being shit.
It was famous for being like kind of the.
Right.
But he's also done Argo and We Own the Night and a whole bunch of good shit as well. And like now he's sort of in this. He's having a career renaissance because he's Batfleck, of course. Who can forget?
Yeah.
But essentially he had struggled with alcohol and all this stuff and ruined his relationship and blah blah blah. And he's came out the other side to play these put upon husbands, and he's really great at it. And he seems really put upon and. It's just a magical performance. So I highly recommend that one, Deep Water. Gets a bit silly, but still worth it. Richard says, I like Deep Water. Can't imagine why she and Ben had an affair on set.
Was that a thing? So
yes.
From Deep Water, he had an affair with the lead actress
star.
Or
The chemistry was good. The
Yeah.
chemistry was good there.
Well, who was
doubt about
she?
it. I can't remember her name. She's quite a famous sort of new actress, I guess.
And who was cheating?
Who
Who was having an affair?
So I don't know who was having the affair because I believe Ben was single by that point.
Right.
Or Ben was no longer married by that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was single.
Yeah.
Richard will fill us.
He'll let us
Richard
know.
will
He'll
spill
let
the,
us know.
the tea.
Yeah, he'll let us know.
But and that's the thing. Sometimes you can really see chemistry, and I thought you could really see it there. So, but yeah, Deep Water, good watch, Amazon Prime. Well, it's actually a great back-to-back with Older, to be honest. Watch Older, then you watch Deep Water.
Yeah, start with Older. Start with Older.
No, probably start
No.
with...
They're only going to watch one, man. Make them watch Older.
Water.
We'll tell them to watch Older first. Watch Older, then go check out Deep Water. See what we're talking about.
Yeah, but who had the affair? Who was he having an
was
affair
married?
with, Richard? Like who was doing the affairing and with against whom?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Jennifer Gardner. He was no longer married to her at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one, Tyler. Ana de Almas.
The other day I went to the gym, and you know the machine that you've got cables, and you hold on to the two bits, and you've got weights on each side of you, and you can kind of do this type of thing or this type of thing. What's that thing called?
Well, I guess it would just be a pull-down machine.
A pull-down machine. So I went to the gym, and I went to the pull-down machine, and I was about to do my workout, as I often do, 2 to 4 times per week. I went along, and what should I see under the pull-down machine but a shit? So that's why I would like to open up our old segment, the gym, sorry, was it the porch pooper? This is a new update, the gym pooper. Because I went to my gym, and there was a literal shit just sitting there. And I was like, okay, that's really, really weird. How did a shit end up under this pull-down machine?
Yeah.
And so I went and I reported it to the authorities, and they removed it, obviously.
They removed it swiftly.
They removed it very swiftly.
Without prejudice.
Yeah. Well, they kept a low profile on that one because they certainly didn't want to be making a big scene about the fact that there was a shit there. So all I could really picture, right, was obviously some guy with wearing short shorts with loose undies, and he was trying to like pull down a really, really heavy weight.
So was this a human shit?
Well, I don't know.
How big was it?
Well, it wasn't huge, but it had the potential to be either way.
What are we talking about? Like we've got the here's a so we're saying smaller than this.
Yeah, it was definitely smaller than that.
So we're saying half that?
Yeah, I mean it was not okay. It was like a.
Or was it like a nugget?
It wasn't a nugget. It was a log.
It was a log?
It was a log. So it was a log. It was smaller than the porch pooper log, but it was, still a log. And so there
it was a log nonetheless.
Yeah, I took pictures of it actually. And so it's
really?
Yeah. And so it's sitting there underneath this pull down machine, this shit. And I went and I told the authorities. And so I've really only got these two theories. Now look, one theory is that it was a dog. Probably wouldn't it be a cat? I don't see how a cat could would be in the gym. There's no cats around the gym. But people do sometimes bring their dog to the gym. I've seen that. So I was like, okay, probably it's a dog shit. But the thing is, it wasn't in what you would traditionally call the traditional dog pile. It was just like one log. And so I really wasn't really sure if it would have been a dog shit or not. And it was the placement was what made it suspicious, because why would a dog go and sit in exactly the right place directly between the two, weights on the pull down machine and take a shit? And so it could have been a dog. I'm not saying it wasn't a dog with a very irresponsible owner, but it seemed to me that this was probably a person doing a really, strenuous pull down, wearing short shorts, and they probably shit their pants a little bit while they did it. And then one of the nuggets fell down and landed, one of these logs, it was not a nugget, it was a log. One of these logs fell down their leg and landed between this pull down machine. And so...
And it was that time that they decided to wrap up that particular gym session.
Exactly. And so they were like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom, I'm going to shower, and I'm going to leave. Now, either they didn't know that there was a big shit there, or they just didn't care. They were like, I don't want to be seen looking after this shit because then everyone will know it was me. I don't want to associate with this shit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a real quick shower and I'm going to leave immediately. And so I don't know. The mystery continues, basically.
Well, I did watch most recently a gym video.
Have you ever felt like shitting while you're like really pushing weights?
No, but I believe my close personal friend Alex Savage has felt like shitting after some particularly devastating body slams that he may have taken.
Yeah.
He's told me that story.
Slammed the shit out of you.
Yeah, almost slammed the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And there are many stories of wrestlers shitting themselves in the ring. So the thing that I think is interesting about that is that I have just recently seen a gym video that's doing the rounds where there's this female powerlifter, and every time she lifts, she just pisses all over the floor.
Right.
And then she just lifts again and just pisses all over the floor. And she doesn't stop. She just finishes her reps as she's just really...
Is this like in competition or just a private training?
No, this is her just at a gym.
Yeah.
Right? No shame.
Yeah.
Just pissing herself repeatedly.
Yeah.
and just it's all about the personal best. It's all about the deadlift.
Yeah.
Right? And just going for gold.
Yeah.
And there's like, a few people in the background kind of going, but anyway, so I feel like it is possible.
Yeah.
So I feel like, it could have been a dog or it could have been one of these types of incidents.
Yeah.
That extreme straining and tension. Yeah.
They should have cleaned it up, though. I mean, look, fair enough.
Of course they should have.
I don't judge them for shitting their pants while they lift weights.
I was a little bit disappointed by this lady's cavalier nature
Well,
that she had to finish her reps.
But I see what you're saying, but also isn't there an element of like, well, you've already reached maximum pain here in the sense that you've pissed your pants in front of everybody. You might as well, if you're on track to beat your personal best, you might as well keep it up.
I mean, there's no reason
like
to
you've
say
already
that
pissed your pants.
There's no reason to say that this was her personal
No,
best. I just threw
she was
that
just
on top.
training. Yeah, she was just training. She was motivated, but it might have been. Nocturnal says on the live stream that there's a glitch in my simulation because every time I see a shit, they're rewriting the program.
I feel
just like deja vu, just like the cat. Yeah.
Every time.
Every
you see a errant shit that shouldn't be there.
It's a rewriting.
Yeah.
They're rewriting the program. Well, you might be right, mate. You might be right. Yesterday, I worked on a show. It was a young farmers show, and I was running a live stream, and it went very well, and it was cool. And it was quite of a step up for me for this particular company because basically their first one guy was unavailable, one guy had COVID, and then so they're like, well, we'll call Harley up. And so I went along there and I broadcast this thing. It's running a live stream of 3 live streams of live events, live sporting events, and sort of running it all. And it went really well. And I've been working in broadcasting my entire career since starting, since working, since I was 21, basically, I've been working in broadcasting. And it's just really interesting now to see that from my laptop, I can do the same thing as an entire TV studio with all of these people that they're paying and all of these facilities basically can all be done now in much the same way with, a much cheaper kit, relatively speaking, and a laptop and just a few cameras and, really like a much cheaper kit and a much, you don't need as much training and all that type of thing because it's all kind of coming together now. And so, it's just really interesting to see what it's become nowadays.
Well, also, I mean, what we're doing right now is
a live TV show.
What once upon a time would have been impossible.
Yeah.
Without hundreds of thousands of dollars in a giant thing.
Yeah. Potentially millions. The only real difference between this show and what I was doing was that it was outside in a farm, and so I had to be using like a Wi-Fi dongle to make it work. But it worked pretty much flawlessly. So this machine, this router, which might be like a couple of $100, you just plug it in, and then you can do this show anywhere maybe not anywhere in the world, but anywhere where you can get 4G. It was just interesting. I thought that was like a great example of how much things have advanced now. So yeah.
Well, speaking of advancing, might be advancing to my dinner time.
Yeah, well, me too. I did just want to say as well, though, that today I did have a poetry show right here. And while I was doing this show on the live stream, I was on Zoom, and this Zoom, they were sharing, it was a big Zoom kind of conference, and I was a guest poet on it. And I had my Zoom there, and every time somebody would share their screen to show what they were talking about, it would make my Zoom go full screen. But I was kind of like off air, kind of in the green room, sort of like rehearsing and figuring out what I was going to do. And so I would be rehearsing, and then suddenly it would go full screen because somebody had shared their screen. And so what I did was I was like, well, how can I stop that from happening? Now, it turns out that's a setting in your Zoom. You can go into your Zoom and you can make it that doesn't happen anymore. But I didn't really know that, and I was like trying to figure out how do I get rid of this, and then I saw this button, and it was stop, such and such from sharing screen. And I pressed that. Now, I wasn't the host of this Zoom meeting. I was just a guest. I was there for 5 minutes, Yeah. So I pressed, so I looked around. I couldn't figure out how to do this. I pressed stop sharing, and it stopped the guy who was presenting his thing from sharing somehow. Why do I have the authority to do that? I'm there for 5 minutes. And so I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And I was like, oh, okay, ooh, that's weird. Like, I've just completely taken this guy off air. But nobody said anything. But it really did cause a big, like, speed bump in the show because basically this guy who was halfway through his presentation, you know, loses his screen sharing because I pressed stop screen sharing. But why did I have that authority? I don't know. But either way, I do apologize to that guy. I didn't mean to kick him off air halfway through his show. Professionally, I'm disrespectful. That's what that is.
It's almost akin to the slap.
It's basically the same as the
It's
slap.
a virtual slap.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, thank you. Glitch.
It's a glitch in the matrix.
But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. And I think this is a good time to wrap things up. We'll see you again. Oh, will we?
Well,
Maybe we may not.
Well, it won't be next Sunday. You might be out and about, but we might be able to do it. We'll definitely do another one at some point.
Well, maybe we should shift to Fridays.
Fridays probably works worse.
Okay.
I don't know. We'd have to look at our schedules, but I assume Fridays work worse.
For you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? You mean just for the next 3 weeks, you mean?
No, I mean...
Just in general, you want to move the show to a Friday night instead of a Sunday night. Well, how do the listeners feel about that? How would that affect you guys? Could you tune in? Let us know. If you're a person that listens on the live stream, let us know. I don't know. We can have a look, but Friday nights are often kind of busy, obviously.
Yes.
With work, I mean.
Yeah.
Not with social
Not with
endeavors.
going out.
Not with anything social.
No.
Yeah. Well, you know, let us know. We can talk about it and figure that out. Let us know what the listeners think. Maybe it could be a Friday night. I like the Sundays. They work for me. Why don't they work for you?
Well, because I always have a bunch of stuff that I need to do
For Monday.
Yeah. After this.
Yeah, and you're like, fuck, I'm tired now.
Yeah. And you know, then subsequently I don't do them and get in a lot of trouble.
Right, at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, you know, we'll talk about it. We'll figure that out. But in the meantime, do go check us out. Use all the links in the description. That would really help us. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week. Maybe not on Sunday, but we'll let you know because we've got busy social lives. Well, one of us does. So we'll let you know. But we'll see you next week. Facebook.com/Guy and Harley if you want to keep up with us.
See you later.